You open Instagram, and there it is. Someone your age just got promoted. Someone else just bought a house. Someone you went to school with posted about their startup. And for a second, you feel it. That quiet, uncomfortable feeling. Like everyone around you has figured something out and no one sent you the instructions. Like life has a schedule, and somehow you missed it. The strange part. You might be working hard, you might be doing everything right, but the feeling won't go away. And over time, this feeling quietly turns into something more dangerous. Self-doubt, pressure, the belief that you're running out of time. So why do some people spend their entire lives feeling behind, even when the evidence says otherwise? The answer isn't about success. It's not about timing. It's about something happening inside your psychology, something most people never even realize is there. Today, I want to walk you through the 5 hidden psychological reasons people feel behind in life. And by the end of this, I think something is going to shift for you, because the feeling of being behind isn't random. It follows a very specific pattern, and once you see that pattern, you can't unsee it. Let's start with the one that affects almost everyone, and no one wants to admit. Psychologists call it social comparison theory. In 1954, Leon Festinger discovered that human beings have a deep, almost involuntary drive to evaluate themselves, not by their own standards, but by comparing themselves to other people. This made sense for most of human history. If everyone in your village was hunting, planting, raising a family, you could look around and understand where you stood. But then came social media. Suddenly, you're not comparing yourself to 20 people in your village. You're comparing yourself to millions across every country, every industry, every stage of life. And here's the part that makes it psychologically devastating. You only see the highlight, the promotion announcement, not the 3 years of rejection before it, the wedding photo, not the loneliness that came before, the success story, never the failure that set it up. Your brain doesn't know this. It takes the highlight reel and uses it to measure your entire life. And the more you scroll, the more it feels like everyone else is moving forward while you're standing still. And this leads to the second reason, which is even more dangerous. But here's something worth pausing on. Most people who feel behind aren't actually behind. They're just measuring their life using someone else's ruler. And that ruler was never meant for them. There is no official schedule for your life. No law that says you should be in a relationship by 25. No rule that says you should own property by 30. No requirement that says you should have it all figured out by 35. These aren't facts, they're social scripts. And they were mostly written by a previous generation for a world that no longer exists. But your brain absorbed these timelines anyway, from your family, from school, from every film and TV show that showed you what life is supposed to look like at a certain age. And now every birthday feels like a deadline. 23 feels like pressure. 25 feels like urgency. 30 feels like panic. Every year that passes without hitting those invisible milestones feels like failure. Psychologists call this the life script, an unconscious set of expectations about when things should happen, and when your actual life doesn't match the script in your head. The gap between them is what you experience as feeling behind. But there's a third psychological force beneath this one that almost no one talks about. From the time you were young, people told you that you were capable of something. Maybe they said you were smart, talented, full of potential. And at first, that feels like a gift. But potential is a strange thing, because potential is always about the future. It's always about what you could become, not what you already are. And when years pass and that potential hasn't fully materialized into something visible, the thought arrives quietly. What if I wasted it? And that thought is hard to ignore. This fear, the fear of wasted potential, is one of the most psychologically painful experiences a person can have, because it doesn't just feel like you fell short. It feels like you failed your own story. Psychologists have found that people with high expectations, either from themselves or placed on them by others, are often the most vulnerable to this feeling. The higher the expectation, the bigger the gap. The bigger the gap, the stronger the feeling of being behind. And this connects directly to the fourth reason, which is about who you think you're supposed to be. Psychologist Erik Erikson spent his career studying how identity develops across a lifetime, and what he found was this: there are periods in life where the pressure to figure yourself out becomes overwhelming. Who am I? What am I doing with my life? What does my future look like? These questions feel urgent. They feel like they need answers now. And when you look around and see other people who seem to have those answers already, you start to feel like something might be wrong with you. This is identity pressure. It's the feeling that you're falling behind on becoming the person you're supposed to be, and it creates a particular kind of anxiety, not just about what you haven't done, but about who you haven't become. Here's the uncomfortable truth, though. Most people who look like they have it figured out are performing certainty more than feeling it. The confidence you see on the outside doesn't always match what's happening on the inside. Which brings us to the fifth reason, and this one might change how you see everything. Before we get to the final reason, I want to ask you something. At what point in your life did you start feeling behind? Was it a specific age or a specific moment? Drop it in the comments. A lot of people realize they're not alone when they see others sharing the same experience. The fifth reason is the deepest one, and it comes down to how your brain perceives time. Research in psychology has shown that human beings are terrible at evaluating their own progress, especially in the short term. We consistently underestimate how much we've changed, how much we've grown, how different our lives are compared to even 2 or 3 years ago, and we consistently overestimate how far behind we are. There's a concept called arrival fallacy, the mistaken belief that once you reach a certain milestone, you'll finally feel like you've caught up. But the feeling of being behind doesn't disappear when you achieve something. It just relocates. Graduate. Now you compare careers. Get a job. Now you compare income. Earn money. Now you compare success. Because it was never really about the milestone. It was always about your relationship with time. And here's what that means. The belief that you are late is itself a story. A very convincing one. But a story. One that your brain has been constructing using borrowed timelines, curated highlight reels, and expectations that were never really yours to begin with. So here's where I want to leave you. You are not behind. You are living at your own pace in a world that has become obsessed with someone else's speed. The people you're comparing yourself to aren't ahead of you. They're just on a different path, moving toward different things, carrying different weights you don't see. The moment you stop measuring your life by their timeline is the moment yours actually starts to feel like it belongs to you. That shift from measuring to living is the real psychological work. And it doesn't happen all at once, but it starts here, with understanding why the feeling exists in the first place. And once you see the illusion, it loses its power, because now you know, and you can't unknow it. If this video resonated with you, here's two more if you're not done yet. The psychology behind procrastination, and why other people's opinions feel louder than your own. I'll leave them both here.